Hello, everybody, and welcome to Coping with Donald. I'm Phil. It is March 22nd, 2026. It's a Sunday afternoon. And as I've said many times before, I actually don't do this because I'm going to get viewers, because obviously I don't get viewers, and it's okay. I don't do this because I think I'm making a difference, and that's okay too. I'm actually doing this just to get it out of my system to try to survive. It doesn't really make me feel better to see people say, oh, I was wrong about Trump. A lot of them are just saying gas prices just went up. I was wrong about Trump. There were things that were wrong about Trump long before this, okay? I mean, in almost every area. I honestly am struggling trying to figure out what about Trump is acceptable or anything that he's done to make the lives of people better. Don't tell me he's made you safer, okay? Because he really hasn't. He has imperiled your future economically and your present, to be honest. He is threatening 401ks. On Friday, the 200-day moving average was breached by the stock market. We'll get a little more on that later. But it went below the 200-day moving average. That is a very scary sign. I myself try never, ever to buy stocks or even hold stocks once we're below the 200-day moving average. Let it prove itself again and get above. Very often, if you go below that 200-day moving average on the SPY, Standard and Poor's 500, it's a signal of more drop to come. I was shocked, to be honest, last April when, after going below the 200-day moving average, that within a month we were back above it again. But the difference, and between April of last year and now, is that April of last year was based on a scary feeling that the tariffs were going to destroy the whole economy, that his threats to other nations in the world were going to isolate us. Now the difference is, and I don't know why the stock market held up for so long based on, oh, artificial intelligence. I actually don't know why. But now it's based on things that are actually happening, not just worry about what will happen in the future. We see the jobs drying up. We see the inflation taking off. We see what's happening with gas prices. We see how much money Trump is spending in the Middle East. We see that Hegseth and Noam were both involved in grifting and spending money needlessly while people's healthcare insurance premiums were going up. And even now, I mean, Hegseth, they were talking about $90 billion in waste. Okay? And even now, Hegseth is going to ask for $200 billion. And they're saying, well, we'll have to cut the subsidies to the ACA Obamacare even more to make up for the war spending in Iran, which didn't have to happen at all and is only destroying things that are going to keep major sources of energy offline for many years while it gets built back. You don't bomb an oil refinery and then start producing oil the next day. It doesn't happen that way. Um, so, unless you're going to go over there and get an oil refinery building job, if you have experience in that, engineering wise, that would be a good thing. You're probably like, hey, there's a job. Although I don't know the ones in Iran. But remember, we're still in the middle of this thing. Trump, well, as Hegseth goes for this money, just think about what was cut over the past year, and now we still don't have any money. And we have to look for extra war funds we don't know where. Everything about what Trump promised was a lie. And anyone who voted for him was told it's a lie. And I really think that any apology, as we're seeing so many from people, I voted for him 3 times, I shouldn't have done it. I can't afford the gas. Anybody who wants to get back in society, even, unless you just want to hang around MAGAs, uh, should lead off with, I was wrong. Kamala was right. You have to say that Kamala was right. And she was right. She was right that Trump would get us into a war. She was right that he would ignore the Constitution. She was right that he was going to act like a fascist. Of course, if you said that, oh, what's with the name calling? Well, you want to know something else? Well, she was right about ICE. She was right about the economy. She was right about tariffs. Tariffs are paid by us. She was right about everything. And Trump he wasn't wrong about everything. He just lied about everything to get your vote. And it was very foolish to follow him in that direction. And I would assume that anything that Trump pushes from now on should be thought of as negative for the people in this country. Totally not America first. So, note to my brother, Neil, you have to call me up and tell me Kamala was right, okay? You gotta do that, bro. I'm just telling you. I know you're listening to this. So, here we are with a gazillion problems in America that couldn't be addressed if somebody had a podcast for a day without stopping, like a Senate filibuster or something. And we're really in deep trouble. Our allies have all left us. They came across with something vague, like 20 of them signed on to some sort of a statement saying, please, Iran, open the Strait of I always want to say Vermouth. Of Hormuz. Maybe it's just because I want to have an alcoholic drink I say vermouth. And that's, of course, Trump says he's gonna stop the oil embargo on Iran to sell oil to the United States so Iran can have more money to create more weapons, I guess. If that makes sense to anybody, comment below. Like and subscribe. But I mean, it's really obvious. I mean, the fact that they thought that Iran would not fight back in any way, shape, or form. Trump, who is hoping to starve out Ukraine into surrendering to Russia, who has embargoes around Cuba to shut down their electric, who was, who's well in favor of choking Venezuela to death, give me all the oil or else, and we're going to kill everybody on a fishing boat because we want to. Trump should understand war by economics more than anyone. Because of all the things he did. And when Iran does something, he's like, oh, oh, I didn't expect that. Well, he didn't say that. Because remember, he's in his mind, he is correct about everything. But he comes out every other day. One day it's, hey, this war is going to go on forever and we're going to really destroy them. The next day it's, hey, I think we're going to end the war in about 32 minutes. The day after that, it'll be, hey, let's send thousands of troops, Marines, to fight boots on the ground. The next day he says, what did I say, boots on the ground? Wait, did I even say this was a war? This man must be removed and Vance installed, okay? Because even if Vance just makes mistake after mistake or makes asshole decision after asshole decision, at least he's a pretty much not insane ass lunatic like Donald Trump is. Donald Trump's legacy is going to be not just as a bad president or a bad businessman, but as an abysmal human being, totally self centered and therefore totally unfit for the presidency of the United States in a way we've never seen, in a way that 50% of the people were never convinced otherwise before in our history. And yeah, I really, deep down, I don't want people to suffer. I don't want people's children to starve because they voted for Trump. But I honestly think they would just vote Republican again, fall for the same promises again. I don't think they learned anything. If you only got upset by gas going up, you haven't learned anything. Oh my God. I got to go out and go for a walk because I didn't yesterday and I feel very sluggish right now. It's kind of nice to go out in the middle of the day to walk versus always having to wait for the evening when the sun goes down, which is going to start soon enough. And I have to start researching for an air conditioner. I really don't want to buy anything at this time, but sometimes you have to. And I'm in the area where I think I have to. A lot of people are worried about the stock market. And to be honest, the only difference between now and say last April is that now things are actually happening inflation wise and job wise, and nobody's coming over here to visit us. And I wonder what the World Cup's going to do. I mean, because if the World Cup bombs, then we really know we're on our own. Really on our own. And we we can get out of this, but we're running out of time. And we can't get out of it with Donald Trump at the helm. Also, we can't get out of it without making a lot of apologies to a lot of nations that people are really not going to want to apologize to. For those out there who have children of any age, just look at your children and say, should we keep having Donald Trump as president? For people who maybe didn't have anything to believe in their life, and then they started to believe in Donald Trump, take one look at him and say, maybe I could start to believe in someone else. Ladies and gentlemen, the people that voted for him have to realize what has happened. And not say, oh, I don't do politics, okay? They have to realize what's happened and what's going to happen. If the people of the United States don't send out a clear message that we deserve better than this, for sure. We deserve better than this. Let's hope we don't have our voting laws skewed too much to where people are turned away via the what is it called, the SAVE Act. We're not going to be saved by turning people away from the polls. I'm not talking about illegal immigrants voting. They don't. I'm talking about people who are on the liberal side that they'll find some reason to keep them from voting. Maybe they'll make them wait online for 7 hours before they can vote or something like that. No water. Remember, no water. So that's the end of me trying to cope today. Oh, I didn't say this. I forgot. I set it up. But in one of Trump's messages, I think it's the one saying, if you don't open the Strait of Hormuz in 48 hours, we're going to bomb anything that's ever been built. Okay, something like that. And then he starts talking about the fascist Democrats. What a lot of effing nerve, Trump. We're supposed to be like, you shouldn't call Republicans fascists. That's bad. That's not going to help your cause at all. And then he calls the spineless Democrats fascist. And don't forget Bob Mueller. He's dead. Good, according to Trump, which basically is approved the epitaph of when Trump one day dies. Only there's going to be a lot more people saying good in a lot more countries. This has been Coping with Donald. I'm Phil. Have a great day.